Yeah, hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Today, here on Saturday, we've been moving into the weekend. It's a bit boring as Saturdays often are, not always. We had some exciting weekends in the last few weeks, but this Saturday seems to be a bit boring. We had quite a bit of volatility during the week, but we haven't really managed to break out of this channel. What I'm going to do, I'm going to delete all these previous support boxes. They are not relevant anymore. I also take the orange and the green one out. We don't need them anymore. So they are not really relevant anymore. Don't want to overload the chart. Down here as well, those were good entries for anybody who followed them. What I also will do, I will delete this white subwave count. We don't really need that anymore because, the price is basically advanced and we don't really need those lower level waves anymore. So I take them out as well. That keeps the chart clean, because we are now in this channel and that's really what it's about. So at the moment, there are two ways how this move up really can be counted. We can either count it as a three-wave move, which is my preferred option. So that we had here a wave 1, which peaked back in December, a wave 2, which also bottomed in December, and then a very long extended wave 3, which possibly already finished here, but then this green wave 5 of 3 would have been very short. Therefore, my preferred option is to still push a bit higher in an extension of the wave 5 of 3. Now that would only be 3 waves. To really fulfill a proper impulse, I would like to see a wave 4 and a wave 5. This in itself does not really tell us that the bear market low was in, but it would, in my opinion, increase the probabilities, because we get a clearer 4 and a clearer 5. All the wave 4s that we've seen along the way, they weren't really strong. So in my opinion, that would increase the probabilities that we get a proper impulse and that we will also hold retracement support and that we will make a higher low. So it would be preferred if we are waiting for a bull run that we get this 4 and 5 to finish off a larger wave 1 before we come down. Now, these 5 waves could only be embedded in a larger ABC correction. So just having 5 waves up, as you know, is not going to be enough evidence that a bear market low is in. We can count it as wave 1, which would be the first impulse of an uptrend, but it could also just be a C wave, which is part of a larger ABC pattern in a wave 4, which could then still make another low. So at the moment, until we hold wave 2 support, we will not be able to tell if the bear market low was in. And even then it's only an assumption, but it's at least higher probability. There is no certainty in these markets. Now, saying that we can also count it a little bit differently, we could subdivide the counts in that we say this was a 1, this was a 2, this was a 3, this was a 4, and we finished here the wave 1. Or maybe finish it if we extend a bit higher, as I just said, with the other count. Now, I don't particularly like that idea because in my opinion we've got a 1-2 setup hidden here and so on. I did explain in the previous video, it has to do with the depth of the extensions and the retracements. So that's not my preferred option, but it could be. So either way, in any pullback now, I'm watching if we are holding key support. In the first count I showed you, the wave 4 support will be relevant. That is currently sitting at round about 20k. In this count here, where we finished off a wave 1 here, which I cannot rule out, it will be important to hold wave 2 support down here. That could go down a little bit lower, and it would sit at around 17.3k. So if wave 4 support fails, I'm going to watch if we're holding wave 2 support. If that fails as well, we are most likely going to continue with a bear market. But to get more confidence in a really bullish count that the bull market has ended, I would like to see a wave 4 and 5 first, a clearer one. Okay, so now hopefully we've talked about and cleared up confusion around the higher degree wave count. What I'm looking at in the short term here is that here here on Wednesday, that was at around 22,770, that a wave 4 triangle, a wave 4 of 3 triangle ended, and that we are now moving up in a wave 5. As I just said, could very well be that this wave 5 ended here already, but it would be very short compared to the previous waves, and therefore it would not be my preferred option. We are also going to zoom into the lower level wave count in a minute. But let's also take a look at the indicators. Yeah, I did announce in the last few days that I'm going to take some profits. I think it was, for me, the right time. It was sort of just below 23K for Bitcoin Ethereum, because I think, even if we push higher still, which we can, I think we're getting to a point where, for anybody who, that's entirely up to you. I'm not going to suggest to you what you should do, because in the end people are annoyed if we still go higher. I accept, when I take profits now, some profits, that we can still go higher. But the thing is that I will not really be able to tell you if the wave 4 support is going to fail, and if we're heading into wave 2, until 20,000 basically. And then here, that was the around about 17.6K level or something for the wave 2. So it's going to be down. It's quite a lot down or drawdown that's required to really talk, decide what kind of scenario are we in. And from a strategic point of view, then it makes sense for me to take some profit. That's always what I do. When we get to a pivot point, and it could turn around now at any time, then I'm going to take at least partial profits. Of course, I keep a core position. Of course. Okay. And also on the daily, that's what I mean. We see now a bearish crossover here. We saw that. This downside momentum is still increasing on the daily. Also, we had quite a lot of bearish divergences now on the daily RSI. Now again, that doesn't mean it cannot go higher, but it means that the next high could be the last one. You often see that. Now, I'm not going to rely on indicators alone, but indicators can confirm wave structures, and they often either appear in a wave 5 or in a wave 5 of 3. Bearish divergences. In addition to that, an indicator that I normally don't look at too often is the MFI, the money flow index. Also, the money flow index suggests that, make that white, it's crossed below the 50 level now. And let me just change the color here. You might see that better. Change it to white, I guess is better. So the money flow index is also now at the lowest point since the beginning of January. Yeah, and it indicates that less money is flowing in. So it means that the bulls are getting a bit careful. Okay, so it's just something to be aware of. So I'm thinking, we're sort of getting towards the end here of a possible rally. Now again, it can still push higher. That would be actually preferred in the short term to put that extension in for the wave 5. But it's all about being careful and having risk management in place. Yeah, it's not trying to be that person that waits for the lowest price. And a lot of people didn't buy because they were still waiting for a 14K level before Bitcoin could go up. And a lot of people won't take profits close to the all-time high level because they still wait maybe for Bitcoin to make 200K or 300K eventually. So, it's all about, for me, I try to take profits along the way, buy the retracements again and so on, but keeping a core position. So now if we take a look at the very short term, I don't think anything happened really in addition to the last video. We're still in this possible, as I said, the wave 4 might have ended here. We rallied here in what I currently believe is a wave 1 of 5. That was on Thursday. And now we're coming down here in this wave 2 correction, a possible WXY correction. It looks corrective at the moment, and I wouldn't be surprised to break out of that pattern shortly. But, we can still come down a bit more. We fulfilled minimum expectations in that the wave Y came down below the W low. And also here, if I count that as a C wave, the C wave came below the A wave low. So all of that is fine, but it hasn't really started to rally. This is the first possible 1-2 setup. Now it just needs to break out of the wedge. And the first target for that wedge breakout is always the beginning of the wedge. So we're talking here about 24,140. We won't really be able to tell if the reversal to the upside has started from my support box here until we break really above the wave B high at 23,725. And then also take out the wave 1 high. That would be even better at 24,200. 260, and then I would expect it to rally in a third wave. Now, if it's going to be an impulse, this 5-wave move, or a diagonal, that is what's going to show. Because I can also find a way to count the wave 4 complete here. Then we topped clearly in 3 waves, A, B, C, and then it would suggest that the wave 3 is also going to be an ABC. Or we count the wave 4 complete here, and then you can get away with counting this as an impulse. Then the wave 3 could also be impulsive. But either way, we are going to see that along the way probably, and I will be able to advise, I guess. No financial advice though. But if we talk about, by the way, I was asked to always add the 0 line to the extension so that you can see where it actually is starting. So I'll do that from now. And very first target, I would say, we already talked about targets, but the first FIB target would be 24,666 if we start from here to the upside. But the ideal target for a third wave would be 25,566. Okay, that's my update. Tomorrow, by the way, we're going to have the member live stream again. So for anybody who wants to join the membership, maybe to talk a little bit about metaverse coins tomorrow, feel free to do so, 5 p.m. UTC. A few weeks ago, we talked about AI coins. I think that was the right time to talk about that topic if I'm looking at the charts. So tomorrow we're going to talk about metaverse coins again. Had a few metaverse coins pump in the last few weeks as well. And there's some new interesting projects that are coming along. So yeah, that will be exciting. So if you want to be part of that, feel free to consider to join the channel membership. And other than that, I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.